And as we still on the holy grounds, this is the memorial or the mausoleum which contains Dr. Nkrumah's final remains. But since he died, this is actually his third burial place. He was the leader of Ghana until 24th of February 1966, when his government, through Western manipulations and influences, his government got toppled in a military coup. So that forced him to go into exile in a country called Guinea, also in West Africa. But when he arrived there, the government and people of Guinea accepted him wholeheartedly, and not only that, made him their co-president because of the active role he played in the independence struggle of Guinea much later. That is where he was living until 1971 when he fell sick. So they took him to Bucharest, Romania, for his medical treatment. That is where he died of prostate cancer in 1972 at the age of 63 years. So his body was later embalmed and then taken back to Guinea, where he was given a state funeral and burial as their co-president. But 3 months later, his body was transferred back home because at the time he died, unfortunately, his mother was then still alive. And he happened to be the mother's only child. So she was asking that he was brought back home. So they took him there where a mausoleum was also built for him. But later, Ghanaians thought that he deserved a proper national memorial for all that he was able to achieve for us. So this ground was constructed in 1991. So when he finished it, he was then transferred from his family house to here. So this is his third and hopefully his last resting place. It's built of Italian marbles, designed by a Ghanaian architect. So we believe he's now resting whilst being buried here. And back then, he was one leader who pushed strongly for the unity of the continent, and among the leaders who formed the OAU, for which yesterday the whole Africa observed a national holiday. So that passion for the continent eventually made him to marry an African, symbolically to promote African unity. Her name is Nkrumah, but she died just in 2007, back home in Egypt. But not long after her death, the news came from their children that on her sickbed during her last days, her wish was to be laid by her husband if she passed on. So that request was then relayed to our then government. It was agreed. So they brought her back, gave her also a big state funeral, and eventually she was brought to be buried by him. So we have her tomb on the other side. So let's go have a look at where she is also buried.